Morning, everyone. I'm Donald Capolino. I'm the hearing officer conducting this public hearing. Before the hearing began, I had marked as hearing officer's exhibit number 1 in evidence the notice of public hearing in this matter, indicating that this public hearing would be held today, the 8th day of October 2021 at 9:30 a.m. local time in the town of East Fishkill Town Hall, and that's where we are right now. Also indicating that the public hearing is open for comment on the Zoom platform. I had marked this hearing officer's exhibit number 2, the affidavit of publication from the Poughkeepsie Journal, indicating that the notice of public hearing was published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on 9/24/2021. I had marked this hearing officer's exhibit number 3 in evidence the affidavit of Jenna Jones, indicating that on September 23rd, a copy of the notice of public hearing was mailed to the Honorable Nicholas D'Alessandro, Supervisor of the Town of East Fishkill, to Dr. Dwight Bonk, the Superintendent of Schools of the Wappinger Central School District, and to the Honorable Marcus Molinaro, Dutchess County Executive. I had marked as hearing officer's exhibit number 4 in evidence the September 24th letter from Timothy Dean, the chairman of the Dutchess County Industrial Development Agency, appointing me as the hearing officer in this matter. With that, I will open the public hearing. I understand that Kathy Alfano wants to make a preliminary statement. Ms. Alfano,
Okay.
prepared?
Kathy, would you like to go ahead and make a statement?
Oh, I don't begin my presentation now, correct?
You can begin your presentation if you'd like.
Okay. So what I would like to do is just really thank you for this opportunity to meet and speak with you all and basically introduce the team that we have representing Frito-Lay and PepsiCo. So from economic development is myself and Kim Koske, and Chuck Mueller should be actually sitting in the room. From engineering, it is Stephanie Hanger, who is on the call. And from government affairs, I think a Peter Wilcox should be in the audience. And then lastly, but not leastly, is our attorney, Jennifer Gray from Keen & Bean. So thank you for this opportunity, and I will share my screen. So we will go to the presentation. Okay, so we are meeting with you all on October 8th, and what we really like to do is we like to talk about who we are as PepsiCo or Frito-Lay, give you an overview of the project, and then really summarize the benefits. First is really PepsiCo is a global food and beverage company, and I am actually proud to have worked there for more than 30 years. We are in 200 countries, and we are consistently recognized by external agencies for our work as being ethical, Fortune Most Admired, financially astute, a good place to work. We're recognized by different diversity groups, women's groups, and we're actually recognized for our work in the sustainability field as being, out there on the forefront. And you can see many of our iconic brands, but some of them you may not have been so familiar with, like we are Gatorade, we are Tropicana, we actually are Quaker, as well as Pepsi and Frito. Just to now introduce you to who is Frito-Lay. Frito-Lay is the subsidiary of PepsiCo that actually manufactures, markets, and sells corn chips, potato chips, and other snack foods, and it has 66,000 employees. These are some of the iconic brands that I'm sure you're very familiar with that Frito manufactures and distributes. Now, just to really give you a quick overview of what the rendering of the project is, on the current parking lot that has not been in use for some time, there's 28 acres, we intend to build a fulfillment center. The fulfillment center will have about 105,000 square feet at 49 feet, 35,000 at the 79 feet, which is within the zoning. We will have an office there of about 8,000 square feet at 22 feet height. And then we'll have a fleet center of another 9,000 feet that you cannot see in this rendering. It's actually behind these buildings. So now we just really want to talk to you about, what is this project overview? And so we intend to redevelop, reuse, and revitalize the vacant and underutilized industrial property that was a former parking lot. Rolling Frito-Lay sales is the legal entity. You'll see that be referred to, as it is the sales and distribution entity for Frito-Lay in the US. Rolling Frito-Lay intends to invest $100 million in East Fishkill to construct and equip the fulfillment center to distribute food products. We intend to create 80 full-time jobs with benefits. The average wage is over 150% of the county average. The benefits are wellness, retirement, and health. And the positions include a range of positions, which includes supervisory managers, administrative staff, warehousers, and maintenance mechanics. And when you look at, that grouping of positions, they're all very important, each and every one of them. In addition, we expect that the project during its construction phase will create 80 construction jobs. I'm paging down, so just. Technology never works when you want it to. Okay, there we go. Okay, so so what is it that we're requesting? So we are requesting a sales tax exemption and a property tax abatement. And to go over this is, Sarah can probably talk about this more, but her independent analysis of the cost benefit is a 12-to-1. And so what the sales tax exemption is, you all know this for Dutchess County, is, pretty much half is New York State and the balance is for the county. For the pilot agreement, what we're asking, the pilot agreement will generate 6.5 million of incremental tax revenue, and it ranges from over the 15 years, it's about 500,000 on average. And this is an increase from the property tax revenue. The current property is sitting there at 900 assessed and creating less than 30,000 a year. So, going back to this pilot, we'll put on average about 500,000 of incremental tax revenue, where this parking lot was only generating $30,000. So of that incremental tax revenue, 5 million belongs to the school district, and about 700,000 and 700,000 goes to the county in tax based on the proportions of the tax percentages. I know that everybody in Dutchess County Industrial Development Authority understands this, but this is really more, since this is a public meeting, that there is very extensive annual compliance reporting that is required by New York State and by the county. So I actually do this in most states of the US, as well as outside the US, and I have to say New York is very strict on its compliance. They will check the jobs and the wages and the capital investment every year, and we have to report it annually. And since we are a big company, we do sometimes get subjected to audits, which we, being a former auditor from Deloitte, I always make sure that, and Kim as well, our work papers are such that we do a great job in passing our audits. Really, what is the benefit of this project? So going back to just really summarizing it, the benefits of the projects are 80 full-time jobs in East Fishkill at a variety of wages at an average wage of at least 50,000 plus benefits, okay? And in addition, it's 6.5 million of incremental property tax revenue to the town, county, and the school district with the pilot agreement. So it's, we would love to enter into this agreement for 15 years, and then that really, guarantees the revenue to the town. The 100 million investment will redevelop, reuse, and revitalize the vacant and underutilized industrial property. That's a former parking lot. 80 local construction jobs. And the other thing that we're always very proud of is PepsiCo Frito-Lay has a strong history of local community involvement. And once we are in the community, then we would anticipate being part of that community. And usually that's just really our Frito-Lay employees. And we can now open this to any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Alfano. Does anyone else anyone present here would like to speak? Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to speak?
Excuse me, this is Doreen Tignanelli. Is this time for public comment, Mr. Capolino?
Good morning, Ms.
Can I proceed?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, Mr. Capolino is a little hard to hear. He's a little garbled, so I wanted to make sure. Okay, I'd like to say that I'm opposed to the issuance of any financial assistance to the project in any form, including the payment in lieu of taxes and sales tax exemption. Such exemptions shift the tax burden to other taxpayers. And taxpayers should not have to subsidize the profits of PepsiCo, the parent company of Frito-Lay, whose worth is over $200 billion, according to Forbes. The sales tax exemption alone is nearly $6 million, and I believe that the taxes should be paid in full by the project. At the September 15th, 2021 IDA meeting, Ms. Alfano of PepsiCo touted the $6.5 million tax revenue that the project will bring in over 15 years. What was not mentioned was the amount of taxes the Frito-Lay project would bring in if they were to pay their full share of taxes without requesting exemptions. And this is something that the IDA glosses over each time, particularly the chair. They always say how much tax will be brought in, but they never say how much the full amount of the tax would be. Also, per Ms. Alfano's statement at September 15th meeting, the bulk of the tax revenue will go to the school district that the property is located in, but taxpayers in the entire county will be sharing in the subsidy of this project. And I know oftentimes IDA members seem defensive and dismissive when the public states that taxpayers subsidize these IDA exemptions. However, the New York State Comptroller's Performance of Industrial Development Agencies in New York State 2021 annual report dated June 2021 states, and I quote, "However, tax exemptions granted by IDAs can reduce the tax base of local governments and school districts and may increase other taxpayers' tax bills," unquote. Also like to state that the increase in property tax revenue is also often cited as a benefit, and it's based on the current assessed value and estimated new value. But again, many times going forward, the property owners often challenge the assessed value of the property after the project completion, and the projected tax revenues end up being lower than stated. It was also stated at the September 15th, 2021 Dutchess County IDA meeting by East Fishkill Town Supervisor that Amazon liked the, that Frito-Lay liked the deal that Amazon received from the IDA. However, it should be noted that the Amazon project, and it states this on the Think Dutchess website, is expected to create more than 500 full-time jobs and hundreds of part-time jobs. But Frito-Lay is projecting only 80 FTEs. IDA Chairman Tim Dean even noted at that meeting that compared to other projects, the number of projects being created by Frito-Lay is much lower. So the lower job creation number for Frito-Lay does not justify the pilot and sales tax exemptions requested. Regarding creation of 80 construction jobs, it remains to be seen if Dutchess County IDA board member Alfred Torgiani will vote in favor of tax exemptions for Frito-Lay, and then as owner of a local construction company, Key Construction, will then provide quotations to the project, which is what transpired for the Amazon project. And that has the appearance of a conflict of interest to some. Also, in response to a question by Chairman Dean at the September 15th meeting, it was stated by Mr. Patel of PepsiCo that there won't be any solar installations at the project, and economics were cited as one reason why not. Now, PepsiCo's resources, again, over $200 billion, coupled with the financial assistance that they're receiving from the IDA, certain to be granted, That should result in more sustainable measures at the project site, such as inclusion of solar installations. The application also states that the project may be driven outside of Dutchess County or New York State without the IDA benefits, but every applicant states that. Vassar College stated that when they applied for it and received preliminary approval for a pilot and sales tax exemption for their inn and conference center. The college subsequently withdrew their application and the project is progressing without financial assistance from the IDA. So while they say that the project may not continue without IDA assistance, I don't know, to me that seems questionable. And the last thing Ms. Alfano said about how New York State has very strict job reporting requirements to make sure. Well, I also note that a local local Dutchess County Comptroller, Robin Lois, and the New York State Comptroller, Dinopoli's office, has found that issues with job discrepancies in reporting by the IDA on various projects. So job compliance is not always certain. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Tignanelli. Anyone else on the Zoom call want to be heard?
If you'd like to speak, just use the raise your hand function. Oh, okay. I think Ginny, iPhone.
Yes, good morning. How are you? I would like to say that can you hear me?
Yes.
I would like to say that I concur with Ms. Tignanelli's comments and that I am against corporate welfare, and PepsiCo and rolling Frito-Lay can well afford to pay the taxes, whether they get this pilot or not. So let's stop. Let the IDA stop from handing out Halloween candy. And I will not be handing out Frito-Lay snacks at my home on Halloween. Thank you and have a great day.
Ms. Ginny, can you, for the record, state your last name?
Sure, the last name I'll spell for you. It's Buechele.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, anyone else on Zoom? Okay, anyone here at present here want to speak? All right, if not, I will then close this public hearing. Thank you very much for your participation, everyone.
Oh, can I just say something? I didn't know if we were to respond to just, I was trying to write down a lot of these comments, and I did have like two things. I just wanted a couple of things I just wanted to reply back or do we just reply to this in writing, Sarah?
You can reply if you'd like.
Okay, so one of the comments, so I'll start from the last one that I wrote down first, is on solar. So when someone asked if we were going to install solar, we had said it wasn't in the current economics. So actually Frito PepsiCo is completely green electricity, and how we get there is that we purchase a green electricity. So of our entire US business, it is green. And so we don't necessarily need the solar on that roof to reduce the greenhouse gas. So that's really one of the reasons why we wouldn't anticipate solar, but it could be something that we could develop later on. It just wasn't in the initial package, but we have a goal to actually have a zero input in greenhouse gas by 2040. And that is one of our goals, but we have other ways of doing it, not project by project. We kind of go bigger than that, like, invest in, big wind farms and things like that. So the second thing is the size to Amazon. So if you looked at the acreage, you talk about the jobs and the size of the building. Amazon is 123 acres. We are 28 acres. Amazon is 600,000 square feet. We are 150,000 square feet. So proportionally, we are, the jobs is proportional to the building size and the acreage. The thing that we have is I did look at Amazon's application and the average wage is $32,000. Our average wage is $50,000, which is 150% of the wage that an average person in Dutchess County makes. So we believe we're bringing higher paying wages at those levels and at with good benefits. The other thing just is this is a competitive process. We have looked at several sites and without the incentives is a critical piece to the business case. And so I just wanted to make that statement. And then I actually think I had one last thing to mention, but it just fell out of my head. My apologies. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, so just for, people can agree to disagree, but there is a cost benefit analysis. And so in that cost benefit analysis, it talks about the sales tax exemption, which is 5.9 million. And the property, so we talk about what the pilot will give. It's about 6.5 million is the taxes on the pilot. The part that's reduced is about 3 million. So those two pieces, an independent person has calculated that for every one of those dollars, 12 more dollars is created in the community. And that's something Sarah can speak to or not speak to, but that's really how it is evaluated.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Anyone else? All right, I will now close the public hearing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.